Believe it or not, but it's already budget time for the city of Springfield as they work on crunching the numbers and funding various services that taxpayers demand when they pay their taxes. So what's it looking like? Of course, we go into this conversation with a lot of COVID-19 dollars still out there. About $15 million last reported. That's from COVID relief funds from federal taxpayers. And the city's set to get $17 million more. All of that leaving the city in pretty decent financial shape, at least from the top-level numbers. To delve a bit more into this, I'm Greg Bishop. It's the WMAY Morning News Feed, and I'm joined now by Springfield Alderman Chuck Redpath. Alderman, thanks for taking time with us this morning.
Hey, Greg, glad to hear from you.
Absolutely. So last night, you guys got a bit of an overview from the mayor's office on what they're looking to spend. Give us your take. What's going on here?
Well, seems like we're in pretty good financial shape. I know that a couple of weeks ago we weren't at $50 million fund balance, but in fact, it pretty much stunned everybody when they said that we were. So feel pretty good about that. We got a lot of things to do, and we got a lot of bills to pay, and I think this is a good opportunity for us to catch up on a lot of things.
So what do you think's most important taxpayers need to know about the budgeting process and about where some of the resources are going to be spent?
Well, the most important thing is to remember is what you led off with, is that a lot of this was infused by COVID money. And so we won't get this ever again. So this might be a one and done time for us to take money extra money that we have and to build on things that we need to get. We're going to build 4 new firehouses, and we're going to go from 12 to 13 firehouses, which is what we need to do because the southwest side of Springfield's not covered. We also have to do a lot of reallocation of our resources in the fire department to make things work, and we're getting through that process. And no matter what you hear, the rhetoric you hear going back and forth about how everybody hates the fire department and we want to cut fire department, that's absolutely not true. That's not going to ever happen. I nor anybody else on the city council will ever compromise the fire department. We have a great fire department, and we're going to make it work. We're in the middle of tough negotiations right now, but we'll get through it. So in addition to that, on the water side of the utilities got some financial issues coming, not just in the water, but in the electric side. The city takes $9 million this year from the utility under the pilot program, which is in lieu of taxes what
payment in lieu of taxes, pilot.
Exactly.
Something that if people watch these budget discussions, there might be a lot of acronyms thrown around.
Right.
But yeah, the payment in lieu of taxes, essentially from my understanding, Alderman, that is the corporate fund takes a payment from the utility in lieu of whatever taxes the utility might owe. Is that kind of a general
That's
understanding?
exactly it. And here's the stipulation now. Now we're flush. They're not. So I'm going to propose an amendment to the budget to not take the pilot this year, and stabilize our water department, because if we don't, I can tell you they won't put a tax in this year because it's election year, and so they'll never put a tax in election year. But next year, after new people are elected, you can bet that if we didn't fix this now, they're going to have to put a rate increase for the water, possibly a rate increase for the electric, and then we're going to have to figure out how we're going to fund our pension funds, which means that there could be a property tax increase next year after the election. So, hey, we got the money. Let's fix these problems now. You give $9 million back to the utility. Utility gets stabilized. The water department's stabilized. And we won't have to look at a tax increase for maybe several years, or a rate increase.
We're talking with Springfield Alderman Chuck Redpath about the budget for the city. And remind me, that starts when? March 1st?
Actually, April 1st.
April 1st. Okay, so the end of March, beginning of April. Gotcha.
Right.
So you touched on the fire department briefly about the ongoing negotiations and how you guys are going to make it work. What's the latest on that report, that study that was commissioned? I don't even know how many months ago, but we keep hearing that it's coming out next week.
I think in June.
Yeah.
I think it was commissioned in June, Greg. And to be honest with you, I know the mayor has it. I know that the administration's been trying to work through it, and and they've talked. I guess they've talked to the fire department to see what their take is on it, but the city council has not seen it.
So with that though, I mean, it's looking at the management of the fire department, right?
Absolutely,
How's
yes.
the fire department doing with things like overtime? It seems every year we always hear about excess overtime. What's going on there?
There is a problem with the overtime there, and it's when we got into the COVID situation, we had every department bring a plan to us to cut or scale back so we can make it through this. Uh, police cut. Police went from 9-hour days to 12-hour days and put people on 12-hour shifts. Public Works cut back several positions and made adjustments in their schedule. CWLP did the same thing. Fire department didn't do any of it. And that's one of our problems. Why we're upset is because they didn't even make an attempt. And to be honest with you, it's we gotta have some better cooperation between the fire department and the administration.
Alderman Chuck Redpath with us on the WMAY morning news feed now 717. I'm Greg Bishop, and we're talking about the city budget. There's been some conversation about how to best utilize those COVID-19 federal tax dollars, looking at things like infrastructure and a variety of other elements with city spending. The Treasury Department recently updated its rules concerning the use of those dollars. Is the city looking at how to best expend those dollars, and is it best to expend them in the short term rather than letting it expire?
Absolutely. And one of the things I did with the American Relief Plan money, the ARP money, is I proposed fixing the sewers at the Lake Springfield. I got that ordinance through a couple of weeks ago. $2.4 million on the study to finish the sewers out at Lake Springfield, although the construction is going to be significantly more. But the $2.4 million gets us started. That means that two big lanes at the lake, Linden Lane and Hawthorne Lane, will be completed this year, and then we're going to move completely out around the lake. A big problem we have is septic systems leaking into the lake, and that's our water supply, so that was important to me. I know that Jim Donlin last night asked for a report on how those monies were going to be distributed through the rest of the 9 wards, and so I think we'll hear more about that as the budget goes on. But we need to use this money, and this extra money we have in our fund balance, we could pay for our 4 firehouses right out of with this. This is a great time for us. So we're really lucky to have this extra money.
Alderman, something else too to consider is the interactions between state resources and city resources. Of course, there's always every year a conversation about local government distributive funds, something that the state manages through various tax sources like income taxes, and they deliver it back to the cities. So we'll see what happens in the conversation at the State House with that. But other things that State House policies impact local cities like the city of Springfield, pension policies and first responder pensions, police and fire pensions. How are we looking there? Is that going to be part of the conversation on how to get the best handle on that situation for Springfield?
Absolutely has to be, Greg. And let me just tell you, we were put in a terrible situation several years back when the state moved the amount of money that we had to pay into the pensions. The pension fund was funded at 70% of what the fund should be, which is what you really need to be at. They moved it to 80% and brought the timeline closer to, I think it's 2040 that we had to be at that mark, which means our payments tripled to the pension fund. And, that really put us in a bind. If we have hired this lobbyist that we hope are going to start working on trying to get the legislature to scale that back, to extend the time from 2040 to 2050, and to allow us a little bit more time so we can slow down our payments. You're never going to have 100% of your police and fire departments retire at the same time. They're going to retire at worst case scenario 10% of the people. So it's always going to be paid into that. So it's not like the fund's going to go broke, but the state of Illinois has got a bad habit of taking money from funds and that kind of thing. I don't trust most of them.
Alderman, finally here, and I don't know if you know much about it, but all we got from the mayor's office over the weekend was that the library director's no longer the library director, and she reportedly told the Illinois Times that the administration wanted to go into a new direction. What do you know about this, and is this something that you guys need to delve more into and to get a better handle of what this new direction is for the public library?
Well, you heard what we heard. The city council don't get much information out of the administration. And I can just tell you this. I don't know what the lady did wrong, or if she did anything wrong, we never, when you don't hear anything about things going wrong over there, you think things are running properly, but we have not heard why she was fired. And the administration's answer is it's a HR question, and we can't delve into personnel issues. So that's all we know. And
well, is this something that could come up during the budget talks? Because you guys do eventually, week after week, you'll go into the police budget, fire budget. Eventually, the library budget comes up.
Since I've been on the this last city council, the mayor's only fired 2 people, Val Yazel in economic development, and now this lady over at the library. I don't know why. We don't know why. We don't know why. I can't give you an answer. And obviously, I'd like to know, because maybe we can go in executive session and they can explain it to us, but it doesn't really make any sense. It was pretty abrupt, and I'm sure she was pretty stunned too.
Well, we'll keep an ear out for that. Alderman Chuck Redpath, greatly appreciate you taking the time with us today. We'll, of course, hear what happens tonight at Springfield City Council. We focused a lot on the budget. What is going to happen tonight at the Springfield City Council meeting?
Well, regular business tonight, hopefully, and we'll get through our process and then back to the budget again on Thursday. I think everybody's going to get excited about getting out of the city council tonight so they can go watch the Lanford Griffin game. You know what I mean?
Oh, there you go. Right. Yeah. So maybe it'll be another hour-long meeting, which is great for the council roundup, by the way.
That'd be great.
So appreciate your time as always. We'll connect again soon. All right. Be safe.
Okay, Greg. Thank you, and have a great day.
You too. It is the WMAY morning news feed, and now 7:23. Let's